Hey everyone, and welcome back to DevOps Corner. So let me ask you, are you just tired of all the manual clicks, the inconsistent environments, and, the total chaos that comes with managing modern infrastructure? If that sounds familiar, then you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to dive deep into Terraform. Seriously, this is a tool that will completely change the way you think about building and managing your infrastructure. So stick around and hey, if you get some value out of this, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button for more deep dives just like this one. All right, so let's get right into the big question, right? How do you actually build and manage all this modern infrastructure without pulling your hair out from the chaos of manual configuration? I mean, think about it. Every single project needs servers, databases, networks, the whole shebang. And trying to settle that up by clicking around in a web console? Oh man, it's just a recipe for disaster. It's so slow, it's super easy to make a mistake, and trying to get it exactly the same way twice, forget about it. So, yeah, how do we escape this mess? Okay, so here's our game plan for today. First up, we'll cover exactly what Terraform is. Then we'll peek under the hood and see how it works. After that, we'll get it installed on your machine, walk through the core workflow you'll be using every day, and then we'll tackle the super important concept of state. Finally, we'll tie it all together and talk about why this whole thing matters so much. All right, Section 1, what is Terraform? I love this subtitle, The Blueprint for Your Infrastructure. And honestly, that's the perfect way to think about it. Imagine having like a master blueprint for your entire setup. With Terraform, you're not clicking frantically in a console anymore. Nope. You're defining everything your app needs, servers, databases, networks, all of it, in clean, easy-to-read code. It's like getting a superpower for managing infrastructure. Seriously. Now, Terraform is a huge player in this world of what we call infrastructure as code, or IAC for short. And the idea behind IAC, it's actually pretty simple, but it is so powerful. You basically start treating your infrastructure just like you treat your software. What does that mean? It means you can check it into Git, you can have your teammates review your changes in a pull request, and you can automate its deployment, all the stuff you're probably already doing with your application code. It's a complete change in mindset. Okay, this is a really important concept to get. Terraform is what we call declarative, not imperative. So what's the difference? Well, an imperative approach is like giving someone a step-by-step recipe. First, preheat the oven. Second, mix the flour. You're telling it how to do everything. But with a declarative approach, you just describe the end result. You tell Terraform, hey, I want one web server and one database, and they should be in this network. That's it. You describe what you want, and Terraform acts like a master chef, figuring out all the complicated steps to make it happen for you. And trust me, this is what makes it so incredibly powerful. So you might be wondering, how does Terraform actually do all this magic? Well, it's all about its architecture, which basically breaks down into two main parts, the Terraform core and something called providers. So here's the flow, step by step. First, you write your configuration file. This is your desired state, basically your dream infrastructure. Then the Terraform core kicks in. It looks at your dream, and then it looks at the current state of things, what's actually out there. It compares the two and figures out the difference. Then it creates this awesome execution plan that tells you exactly what it's going to do, what it'll add, what it'll change, what it'll delete. And once you approve it, it hands that plan off to the providers to actually, well, execute it. And that brings us to providers. What are they? A provider is basically a translator. It's a special plugin that knows how to talk to a specific platform, like AWS or Azure or Google Cloud. The Terraform core speaks a universal language, right? It creates the plan, but the provider is the one that takes that plan and translates it into the specific API calls that AWS or whatever service understands. That's the secret sauce. This plugin system is why Terraform can manage hundreds of different services, from cloud providers to things like Docker and Kubernetes. Okay, enough theory, right? Let's get our hands dirty and actually install this thing. The good news is it's super simple to get set up, and this is your first real step into the world of infrastructure as code. All right, so Terraform runs pretty much everywhere. If you're on a Mac and you use Homebrew, it's just these two simple commands. You add the official repository, then you install it. Boom, done in a few seconds. For all you Windows users out there, if you've got the chocolatey package manager, it's even easier. Just one command, choco install Terraform, and you are good to go.
And of course, for my Linux folks on a Debian or Ubuntu system, it's the apt-get command you know and love. Just make sure you've got the HashiCorp repository set up first. And hey, if you're on a different OS, don't worry, the official docs have you covered with super clear instructions.
Okay, once you've run the installer, just pop open a new terminal window and type Terraform help. If you see a big wall of text with all the available commands, congratulations, you've done it. Terraform is installed and you're ready to start building. See? Simple.
All right, now for the really fun part, the core workflow. Your day-to-day life with Terraform really boils down to this simple, powerful three-step dance. Write, plan, and apply. Let's look at the commands that make this happen. So pretty much everything you do revolves around these 4 commands. First, whenever you start a new project, you'll run terraform init. This just sets up your directory and downloads those providers we talked about. Next, you have terraform plan, which shows you a preview of what's about to happen. Then, the big one, terraform apply, which actually builds or changes your stuff. And finally, when you're all done with the resources, terraform destroy will tear it all down for you. Clean and simple.
Okay, listen up, because this is probably the most important tip I can give you. Always, and I mean always, run terraform plan before you run terraform apply. Think of the plan command as your crystal ball. It gives you a perfect preview of everything Terraform is about to do, every resource it's going to create, update, or delete. This is your safety check. This is where you catch mistakes before they cost you time or money. It is your single most important safety net. All right, next up is a concept that can literally make or break your whole Terraform experience. We need to talk about the state file. You can think of this as Terraform's memory. It's the single source of truth for everything it manages. And believe me, you want to treat this file with respect, because if you don't, you're gonna have a bad time. So what is the state file? Well, underneath it all, it's really just a big JSON file. But it's an incredibly important one. It's a detailed record of every single real-world resource that Terraform has created for you. It's the map that connects your code to the actual things running in the cloud. This is how Terraform knows what it's supposed to be managing. If you lose that state file, Terraform basically gets amnesia. It has no idea what it built or what already exists.
Because it's so critical, here are some non-negotiable best practices, especially if you're working on a team. Number 1, do not keep the state file on your personal laptop. You've got to store it somewhere remote and shared, like an AWS S3 bucket. Number 2, you need to enable state locking. This stops 2 people from running Terraform apply at the exact same time and totally messing up the state. And number 3, use different separate state files for your environments. One for dev, one for staging, one for prod. Following these rules will save you from so many headaches down the road. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. You might be thinking, man, this seems like a lot of work. So let's talk about why this all matters. The payoff is huge. It all comes down to one thing, which is kind of the holy grail of modern ops: repeatable infrastructure. The ability to build, change, and even destroy your infrastructure with total confidence and consistency every single time. And this quote here from HashiCorp, the creators of Terraform, really nails it. Every time I run apply, the result is going to be pretty much the same. That's the core idea. Once you've written the code to define your infrastructure, you can run it over and over and over again, and you're going to get the exact same result every single time. You just can't get that level of consistency when you're clicking around in a console. So to wrap things up, think of it like this. Terraform gives you 4 main superpowers. First, automation. You're managing everything with code, no more tedious manual work. Second, consistency. You finally get to eliminate that classic, well, it works on my machine problem, but for your entire infrastructure. Third, replication. Need a new staging environment that's exactly like production? No problem, you can spin it up in minutes. And fourth, visibility. Every single change to your infrastructure is now tracked in version control, just like your code. And that really brings us to the final and I think most exciting question. Once you get the hang of this, your infrastructure isn't just this fragile collection of servers you're afraid to touch anymore. No, it's code. It's a living, breathing, versioned system that you can change and evolve with total confidence. So the real question I want to leave you with is, now that you have this power, what are you going to build next? And that's a wrap for our beginner's guide to Terraform. I really hope this gave you a solid foundation to start your whole infrastructure as code journey. If it was helpful, you know what to do. Please smash that like button, share it with your team, and definitely subscribe to DevOps Corner so you don't miss out on more content like this. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, Happy building!